Our healthcare system is under extraordinary pressure, and when Emily made 3 desperate calls to get an ambulance for her mother, the result was tragic.
Australia prides itself to have a great health system, but it doesn't. It's a big fat zero. Not even a zero, it's minus, unfortunately.
How often have we heard this? A desperate call to 000, vital minutes slipping away, a life slipping away, waiting for an ambulance that comes too late.
Get more bloody ambulances on the streets so they can come and arrive in time.
It's January 13 this year, and life is about to take a terrible turn for Emily Kurosawa and her mother Neslie. The 58-year-old pensioner collapses on the bathroom floor.
So what do you do when you're desperate or helpless? You call for help, and that's what I did. I called 000, requested an ambulance.
Can you read the log to me? What does it say?
I first rang at 10:31 a.m. and then Ambulance Victoria got back to me around 10:45, 10:40. Then I rang again at 11:15, and then I rang again at 12:05.
Did you say she was on the floor?
Yes, I told them that my mum was on the bathroom floor. It took them 2 hours to arrive. My mum was on the bathroom begging me help. I was helpless when my mum begged me to lift her up, and I couldn't do it. I was by myself.
It's times like these when a life hangs in the balance that we desperately need our emergency services, don't we? For Emily and her mother, that long wait was agonising, frightening and ultimately deadly, and made all the worse for the fact that the Alfred Hospital is just a couple of minutes down the street.
Yes, exactly, Martin. You can almost see it from here.
So near, yet so far. Neslie makes it to hospital, but passes away shortly after. I know you're not a doctor, and nor am I, but do you believe in your heart that your mum would have been saved if the ambulance had arrived earlier?
Yes, I do. I'm a firm believer of that, yes.
Why do you believe that?
Because as I said, when I've called 3 times, my mum was responsive. She was talking and she was moaning in pain, begging me to pick her up, to lift her up, but as I couldn't lift her up because I was on my own. You call 000 for help, and the health system unfortunately let us both down.
And unfortunately, I think with the system that we have at the moment, the strain on the system at the moment, I think we can only expect that there'll be further examples of this where people do lose their lives.
Danny Hill from the Victorian Ambulance Union. He represents more than 5,000 paramedics.
We're in a crisis and we're actually putting crisis measures in as that crisis is occurring. So we're already behind the 8 ball.
So the basic problem is that our hospitals are constipated.
They're just completely clogged, and the more patients that our members bring into the hospital, it just makes the situation worse.
COVID has complicated the equation, but the real problem for the Neslies of this world is this: ambulances ramping at hospitals, paramedics unable to leave because hospitals are under so much pressure.
Well, they're providing ambulance care on the hospital grounds, on the hospital property.
Which is ramping.
Which is ramping. So they literally bring their patient into the hospital, they grab their gear, their bag that they would normally take out to a car accident, they take that into the emergency department with them, and they're providing their ambulance treatment on the hospital grounds.
And this is the flow-on effect. Ambulances stuck in limbo, leaving people like Neslie stranded.
So if you are not discharging enough patients from the hospital, then there's no beds on the hospital wards, which means emergency department patients can't be sent up to those beds. So the emergency departments are full. That means when ambulances come in, they can't offload their patient into the hospital beds, and they're unable to respond to cases in the community.
And unfortunately, my mother and I are victims. The health system failed us miserably, and I don't want anyone, no one should experience what I experienced. No, it's unacceptable. For Australia, it's unacceptable.
There's another problem too, people calling 000 when they shouldn't be, and some of the examples are shocking. How's this tweet last week from Danny Hill from the Ambulance Union? Recently, someone called an ambulance because they were stuck in a jacket, couldn't undo the zip, didn't call a friend, didn't call family, didn't knock on a neighbour's door. They called 000 asking for paramedics, highly trained in zips.
was an amazing person. She's passionate, fiery, and she loves to help people. That was her job. She was an interpreter and a translator. We had a great relationship. She was my best friend, the person I lean on when things got tough. She knew all my secrets. Yeah.
And how's this for tough, or is it just stunning insensitivity? One day after Emily buried her mother, Ambulance Victoria sends this, a bill for $1,284, addressed to her deceased mother.
I was shocked. I was very angry. I was vivid, and I was speechless. I mean, why? My mother passed away, and you have the audacity to send a bill to her name. I'm lost for words. I'm lost.
The cause of Nesley's death is still unknown. Emily is still awaiting results of the autopsy. But on Friday, she received this email from Ambulance Victoria, which apologised for the delay. In part, the email reads, "We take very seriously our commitment to providing the very best care we can to every patient every time. And the unfortunate delay in our response has meant we did not meet this standard on this occasion. And this, we have undertaken a review of the circumstances surrounding your mother's case to better understand the reasons for the delay in our response."
The system doesn't work well enough. The people we have in the system are fantastic. They just do the best possible work. They really, really care. They've invested more in the past 2 years of the pandemic, than you could expect anyone to. So they've been incredibly dedicated. They're incredibly skilled. But like I say, with ambulance, we can have the best ambulance crews anywhere in the country, but if we're not getting the patients on time, their skills go wasted.
Ambulance Victoria has told Emily they will waive the $1,284 fee charged for her mother's ambulance, and they're undertaking a review of the incident.